Welcome back, everyone. And today I'm going to have one of my network member coming on board. Thank you for attending. And so today I'm going to have Caleb Canazzi from Buffalo Turnkey as a special guest. And Buffalo Turnkey has been one of our main turnkey provider for our network of investors within our database, and they've been providing tremendous service for a number of years for our investors and many of our investors that purchase in this market, Buffalo Niagara Falls, and they are very happy with their experience. And we could just give you a update what's going on in the Buffalo Turkey market and just go over a few other things. And Caleb, thank you so much for coming on board. I know you guys are very busy doing a lot of deals in your market, so I appreciate that. Okay.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. So with that in mind, let me go ahead and share my screen and let Caleb slowly take it away as I show my one slideshow at a time. I'll give you the cue to speak. So hold on momentarily. So my topic is accelerate your retirement with these low cost, high cash flow rentals, even if you have a lower paying job than normal. So anyway, so for years, since I've been doing this for more than 20 years, I've been helping our investors to buy in many different markets in the US throughout the past more than 20 years. Other than that, for years, thousands of real estate investors from all over the country, including California, where most of our investors come from, they've been flocking to the Midwest housing markets for mainly for cash flow and to achieve the magical 1% rule. We'll go over that later. And so the typical Midwest housing market, if you will, this is a tertiary market, very stable market. They are Buffalo Niagara Falls, where you guys are located, and other markets such as Cleveland, Cincinnati, Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, Indianapolis, Indiana, Memphis, Tennessee, Detroit, Michigan, and many more. So yeah, this is a cookie cutter older homes market that will achieve very good cash flow. The reason why I chose my market, Buffalo Niagara Falls, as the only Midwest market for our database or our network is pretty obvious. I do not need to venture into these other markets to present this kind of product because why? Because I trust Buffalo Turnkey. They have great track record and their system, their process, and their procedures. So with that in mind, that's why Caleb is coming on board today to go over what's the value add of working in this market for out-of-state investors and what's the value add you guys will provide above and beyond the other similar potentially turnkey providers in the other markets. I'm going to briefly go over some of these slides. I discuss this kind of philosophy almost every podcast. Warren Buffett said, be fearful when others are greedy and be greedy when others are fearful. Right now is a fearful housing environment. That's why smart and savvy real estate investors need to be capitalizing. They need to be greedy in a good way and capitalize and take action because there are deals available even today, and we can go over that. And of course, a rental property have multiple dimensions of profit margins, cash flow, tax benefits, appreciation, equity growth, and the power of a 30-year fixed rate mortgage, multi-dimensional, no other asset class or even come close to real estate or asset. And of course, this slideshow also shows that newbies may not fully understand, especially newbies. They are not aware of this amazing asset class real estate. That what most of us will see is the above the surface, above the iceberg, which is we see the cash flow, which is the rental income. We see the consistent appreciation over time, but most people, they fail to see what's below the surface, below the iceberg. What's below is you get some phantom tax benefit called appreciation. You get the power of leverage, fixed rate, 30-year fixed rate mortgage, which is amazing. And of course, you get the equity growth. People pay down, the tenant going to pay down your mortgage consistently. So over time, the amount of leverage, you down payment, the loan you have, the mortgage you have, will be paid down by the tenant. And over the long haul, you have equity growth automatically, just like that. So turnkey versus profit is our philosophy. So let's dive deeper into it. And Caleb, which is I'm very proud of you guys because finally your market is in the mainstream radar. According to Zillow 2024, Buffalo is ranked number 1 in 2024 Zillow's top 10 hottest housing market. Who would have guessed, right, Caleb?
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. Of course, the most important, because for out-of-state investors and out of the country, and Caleb and his team, you guys work with out-of-the-country investors from all over the world coming to your market, coming to your turnkey product to consistently buy properties for cash, for high return. People from Israel, people from UK, people from the Middle East, people from South America, people from Canada, coming to your specific product to buy. Of course, people from my area, mostly in California, go 3,000 miles across the country to buy long distance, remote, almost passive with investing. Why? Because you guys are trusted. You guys been around for so long. You guys have a team which is so critical. So briefly, Caleb, number one, other than the team that you have, and you can share as much as you want, other than your team you have in place with the Buckle Turnkey, but why? To me, I say I'm so confident in your team that I don't need to go to other Midwest market to present similar product. All your market buffer and outflow is all I need for my members because you cover everything what every other market in the Midwest based on the other locations I just mentioned. So what makes you guys such a value add? What makes you think that your neck of the woods, your system, your process is better than similar turnkey? I hate to say the word similar because the other competitors are not similar. Okay. You guys are head and shoulder above all the turnkey providers in Cleveland, Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, Memphis, Tennessee, Indianapolis, Indiana, Dayton, Ohio, Detroit, Michigan, whatever. For quick summary, why your market, your system, your product is above value based on the other competitors, so-called turnkey model.
Yeah, we've had a number of people who've done a little bit of everything too. Like they said, other turnkey providers, especially Cleveland, Ohio, seems to be pretty popular. We actually recently had a guy from Toronto come down. He went to Cleveland as well. He went to another turnkey provider, and he wasn't impressed with Ohio because he went down there and saw some of the products. They just paint the floors, the wood on the floors, because oh yeah, we don't want to put anything in there. He was telling me that they don't even put in hot water tanks or furnaces, and then they hire a guy to stay there so nothing gets broken into or anything. And it sounds pretty sketchy from basically what he was saying, where they would get squatters otherwise if you don't pay the guy to stay there with a sleeping bag or something. And he was definitely not impressed with, and I can't speak to other turnkey providers too, but at least for that specific thing, he was like, your market in Buffalo area, and it's closer for him at least too. But he was saying this is much, much better. And with a lot of providers too, you don't really know. There's a lot of them. I can't really speak on everyone, but a lot of these guys are here one day, gone the next. But as we were just talking before, we're trying to do multi-generational, keep the business going. So my dad was doing this before, I'm doing it now. Hopefully pass it on to kids one day. That sort of mentality where we're not here one day and gone the next. We're around. You could call me up anytime. You got my cell phone number. We could chat about different properties and options too. I'm sure there are other markets too that you can make some good money, but this is the one that I know at least, and that's I know what's going on here. A lot of your clients have purchased here too, so you know it's going well too. Especially a lot of the clients we've sold properties for them after they bought. I don't even know how long we've known each other now. But it's been a while. But they bought a long time ago and then sold and made some good money on the sale too. Especially the longer ago they bought, almost the appreciation we were talking about with the above our iceberg that definitely turned out very well for a lot of people. On top of that, yeah, you got the cash flow. Another thing with Zillow, they just ranked Buffalo as one of the hottest markets and best places to buy because of that reason. You can still get good cash flow here, and it hasn't gone up as much as some other areas too. So there's still room. They feel there's still room for some growth there as well. So it kind of, you get a multitude of reasons why I live here, and I love the market here.
Yeah, of course, Caleb. And of course, not only you and your three siblings, also in the business, family business, multi-generational so far, right? Your father is the head honcho, if you will. And,
Yeah.
and so some of your siblings already have young children. So who knows, the second generation will pick up 20, 30 years from now, continue to thrive in the Buffalo Falls market. And of course, not only that, not only you have a family business, including the property manager, also in-house family business, your property manager, your rehab team, everything, or people are also related to you guys. Some are good friends over the years. So the whole one-stop shop is pretty much family. Am I right? Describe your support team. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so basically, my brother is one of the ones who heads the management company, Justin, and then a friend, family friend, Austin, also helps with that too. Not related there, but and then yeah, one of a couple of the rehab crews, they're also related, cousin and an uncle too, who they have the rehab crews too. So a little bit of mix of everything for what we do. And we also sold properties to family members. My uncle has purchased quite a number of properties too. There's a lot of people we know from just our family too, group, that we all do stuff together, and it's nice.
Oh yeah, Caleb. On behalf of myself and our network of investors, I truly appreciate what you have built over the years, because it's very scary to buy out of state for a lot of investors, and they are reassured that you guys have a great track record. You guys are very transparent, very honest, have high integrity, and under promise and over deliver, and one stop shop, because an investor is going to buy through you. They're going to invest for the long term. You do all the legwork. Your property management will do everything and invest for long term for our investors. And if they want to sell the property 3 years down the road, you guys can help them sell the property. Or if they want to buy in a whole, you will maintain the long term strategy for our investors and pass on the property to our investors, their generation, maintain their assets. Very reassuring. Okay, let's go over more slide. Thank you so much. And this, we get this huge spreadsheet. And some of my investors, this is my weekly listing I get from you, updates. This is all off market, but we'll go over that momentarily. But in any given day, you guys have approximately plus or minus around 100 properties listed off market from your own personal portfolio. They are a combination of property that are being rehab as we speak. They're going to a rehab. Some properties are already under contract. Some properties are in the process of opening up escrow by investors and what have you. So I'm not going to go over the details on this spreadsheet. Our investors get a hold of it every time I provide them the updated listings for their review. So that's Buffalo, and Niagara Falls is down here as well. Again, anyway, so these are, and some of our investors tell us, how come Buffalo Turnkey does not keep their houses? Why don't they own their property, 500 properties or 1,000 properties long term, keep it under their own name? The answer is, you guys don't have to. You guys have so much consistent volume that you guys sell those ready turnkey properties to us investors. That's your business model. Yes. You guys individually, all of you, if you want to keep all of this portfolio long term, you individually could own 1,000 of these doors. Your brother could own, and your sister-in-law, whatever, can own another 1,000 doors in their personal portfolio. But you don't need to do that. You make money by selling your properties to our investors. Does that make sense? Do you have a quick comment about that?
Yeah. So basically, the other answer would be we can't really do that. We don't have infinite capital that we could just hold on to. If you have infinite capital where you can hold on infinite doors, then yeah, that does make more sense. But we only have so much that we can do. But so with flipping, we do make a higher return on investment there. So we have to do it that way. And in the meantime, while the properties are not every property sells immediately, we don't need to sell them immediately. We're not in the situation that, oh, we got it because they're rented and we, in the meantime, are collecting the rents and we're happy with collecting the rents ourselves. So it's that way. So basically we're at a max capacity of how many houses we can have. But this way, we're making money on selling these properties, buying them for a lower cost, fixing them up and selling them. And then in the meantime, when we rent them out, we're also collecting
Yeah.
rents on it
Yeah.
too. So it's a little bit of, we get the best of both worlds, in other words.
I totally agree. You guys have multiple streams of profit, multiple streams of income on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis. I get your business model. You don't need to own 1,000 doors per individual, although you could do that.
So, I don't think we could have that many doors, but we, as you mentioned and shown, we do have quite a few doors. So yes.
Yeah. By the way, as you can see the slide, I took the liberty of using all these tools available in your toolbox. And now I want to highlight a lot of people, they have heard of the BRRRR strategy, BRRRR. You buy, you renovate, you refinance, and you repeat. BRRRR strategy, which is a very popular investment strategy that has been promoted by a lot of gurus out there, right? A lot of companies beyond myself. And a lot of these BRRRR strategies are, unfortunately, are promoted in a way by other gurus out there, other real estate companies out there to make people do it themselves. A person had to find their own property, right? Whether they live close by, where they want close to the location where they want to buy, or from far away, which is very difficult. A person to do it themselves, DIY strategy, do it themselves. No, individual have to buy the property themselves, which is very risky, right? Especially when someone from out of state don't know the market that well, then they have to rehab. If they rehab it themselves, right? The buyer, the investor. This is what's being taught out there in the YouTube world, right? The YouTube channel world, and the gurus out there that encourage investors to find their own deals, go through the multiple listing service, spend hours and hours and weeks and months to find the right deal, buy the deal at 30, 40% discount, for example, then use their own rehab money to find the investor, the buyer, after they close escrow, getting a great discounted deal, way under market, whatever. Then they have to rehab, put extra money out of their own money to rehab themselves, fix the house themselves, rehab it themselves, or trying to find a contract team, a rehab team, which may or may not be reliable, right? There's a lot of rehab teams out there all over the country that they could scam you, right? They are not legitimate. They are not reputable. They could scam you during the rehab process, or you can overpay for the rehab materials, right? You will pay, if your rehab budget or rehab costs more than what you budget, then how are you going to find extra money for rehab? Because your investor already paid the down payment. The investor already paid all cash purchase. If they purchase all cash, then their rehab budget exceeded their budget, then they are in big shape, a big problem. Then after rehab is done, they're supposed to refinance. In this current environment, with the mortgage rate being higher than it is, 6.5%, 7%, very hard to refinance. What if during the refinancing stage, the market has cooled down and the value of that property goes down? You may not be able to refinance properly. The lender may disqualify you from refinancing the property, so to get the money out. And then the final or is repeat the whole process. Every step of the way, buy, and deep discount, rehab, refinance, and repeat. Every letter of these 4 words is in itself separately is a high risk proposition if one were to do it themselves. But your organization, Buffer Turnkey, would do this BRRR strategy on the behalf of our retail investors. And toward the end of the BRRR strategy, your company will sell the property, turnkey or rehab, tenants in place most of the time, to our retail investors. And I could make the argument when our investors buy your property, retail, off market from your listings, they're still getting a deal. They may not get a 40% discount. They may get a 5 or 10% discount, which is better than nothing. So I want you to compare your methodology of doing this turnkey BRRR on behalf of us retail investors, and look at some of these bullet points. Okay, now before you will comment, look at you or some your company is pretty much a wholesaler. Okay, because you have a 30-year track record, you are getting the deal yourself in the neighborhood, in the location. You know every neighborhood, every street, every nook and corner in Buffalo, Niagara Falls, because you guys grew up there. You've been doing it for 30 years helping investors. So you guys buy distressed properties on the ground. You guys know how to look. It's not that easy because you know your market. You guys will make a ridiculous offer, 30, 40, 50% discount. You guys will use a BR strategy. You guys will underwrite all the great deals. If the deals are not great, you're not going to buy. So you guys, it's on the ground, boots on the ground. You the foreclosure market, if there are any distressed sellers, you can, and also you negotiate discount materials from the local Home Depot, and your contractor and rehab team will spend less money rehabbing the property, and the savings will pass on to us retail investors that buying your turnkey property. So my recap is you guys are doing the great deals. Okay, in fact, the first thing is tell me how you can find those distressed sellers. What type of distressed sellers where you can underwrite the deals in the local market to bring the great deals to us and doing the BRRR strategy. Go ahead, take it away.
Yeah, so not to say that that strategy is bad. That strategy is totally a legitimate strategy. A lot of people do it, but most people who do it, at least that I know here, they're already in real estate, or you got to be local. It's a full-time job. You're really, I mean, we do it full-time for sure, but people who do it are either real estate agents or already own a construction company or something where it's not just, this is, oh, I want to do this. This is my first experience. You don't really know anything when you're coming into it. Like, it's very difficult to do. And then there's obviously a lot more risk involved if you really don't know what it's, but one, yeah, you got to be in the right area. So I think this is a good area for it. But as far as with cash flow, so Buffalo, but then you got to be there, and then it's a lot of work, but it is a legitimate way to do it. That's how we make a lot of money off of doing the flips. But again, you're not going to be getting the same kind of deals that we're getting typically. So we're not really buying properties off of the MLS that are distressed. We're getting different type of foreclosures and avenues where, one, you got to come up with 100% cash. So you got to have the cash down. You can't finance those properties as they are. And then the other thing is, when we're doing these rehabs, if you just go to contractors, again, yeah, you mentioned there is a lot of risk with that. There's a lot of bad contractors, people who rip you off or just not. We've had our own experiences with contractors, and it's really rough out there. But now, since we've done so many, a few of these, we know which ones to use right now. And we have our own employees and do the work ourselves. And that's really the huge benefit that we have. We could probably rehab a house for half the cost of a normal person. Basically, whatever the contractor you're hiring is making on you by getting hired, that's where our cost is. Our cost is the contractor's cost. So we have integrated that way. So not only we have kind of the experience there. So that's a little caveat with doing BRRR, but no, it is, people do make money on that, and that is a good way to make money. It's just, if you want more of a passive investment in this area, you're going to have to buy a turnkey product, and that's what we offer. So we're not really doing too much to offering other people the BRRR because we're doing that ourselves and then passing on a turnkey product, which you can finance and get a mortgage on. And then, yeah, you don't have to worry about, oh, the price of this, the construction of that. Oh, this, I didn't budget this in there. I didn't realize that this was going to come up or something. Some of these houses people buy sight unseen. And a lot of them, we go to the city auction too. Some people, after they bid it and you put down the deposit, they just walk away and lose them money. When they get in and it's too big of a project, they didn't realize it was going to be this and that. So it's tough. So you could definitely lose money that way, but you could also make money that way too. So that if you're willing to take the risk and know what you're doing for that kind of method, there's a little caveat with that method, I guess I would say, but that is a legitimate method as well.
Yeah, that's why we rely on you guys. And the end result is our out-of-state investors, when we buy the property from you, turnkey, you could make the argument we're pretty much buy at below market value. How much below? I'm not going to say 30 to 50% below. No, of course, that's very unrealistic. Few percentage, 5, 10% below, depending on each deal that we buy as a retail investor, we buy your product. But because all the savings you just mentioned is passed on to us, and you will take your profit margin, right? Whatever profit margin, the gap you fill in, and then us investors, we get the benefit. We get good deals from you because you've done all the BRRR work. But let me ask you another question. Now, give me a couple of cases where you just said that you buy at auction, which is great, right? You know what to do. You leave it to a professional. You know how to go to a local courthouse to buy the auctions, get deals that way. What other means? How do you determine how to buy stressed property from a seller? Can you do a little bit of a deep dive, or do you wait until the seller or very much under stress, whether the seller or going to do a divorce, or they going or the seller pass away, or the seller couldn't handle the property, or it's too much work, everything's over their head, or you look to deal with the multiple missing service and a particular house have not been sold for 4 months, and the seller is desperate, then you go in there and get the deal, buy from another seller. What are some cases, specific things you can relate to us based on what I said? How do you underwrite the deals?
Yeah, so a lot of deals. It depends. So we also do one thing that other people want to do is advertising for buying properties, and we've been in the business again 30 years and buying quite a volume of properties. So people know us; they might just call us up at this point to sell a property. Especially, yeah, there might be there's tons of different reasons for people selling and wanting to sell it quickly for cash. It goes all different ways. A lot of the ones you mentioned, we don't do too much with the MLS though, even if it's been on the market a long time, because if it is on the market a long time, that generally means something too. We don't do too much of that. But yeah, sometimes people inherit the house and they're splitting it 7 ways with their siblings. And they just, instead of going through fixing this up ourselves and selling it on, we'll just sell it for cash. So there's a lot of different reasons for doing it, and then we have other kinds, just real estate agents just come and bring the deal to us before it hits the market too. So there's a lot of different avenues. Auctions is another way that what you're mentioning, going to all these foreclosure auctions and looking at all these properties. It's very time consuming too. A lot of these auctions, the houses just get canceled to a last minute too, so you waste all the time. But look, it's definitely it's a job. It's a full-time. So if your clients wanted to do that, they can. It's just, it's not easy. It's not what sometimes when you see on TV, it's a no-brainer deal. Sometimes that it might not be, especially if your rehab costs are going to be market value or not, it'd be the higher rehab cost than, for instance, what we would do. And then people often put inspections. They don't want to see inspections. We do no inspections for buying it. We know what we're looking for, and it can add up our costs very quickly and get everything kind of rolling very quickly, that there's no delays. The attorney we use, he's very quickly owns his own title company, so he's able to push things through. Sometimes there's pre-foreclosure auctions. People are going to be foreclosed on, but they need to sell their house because they don't want the bank just to take their house. They might as well sell it and then get some cash out of it at least. But they need to close right away because, the auction is all of a sudden 2 weeks away. And so it's a lot of reasons.
Yeah, of course. I'm really happy you share this with us. Of course, I know already. I know your business models. I'm very happy and comfortable with it. But one would have to say that in your region, in the upper upstate New York, the western part of New York, in covers a couple of 100-mile radius from Buffalo to Niagara Falls to Rochester to across the state line to Cleveland, which is Cleveland not very far from Buffalo. I had to conclude that you guys have created that reputation already over all these years, and people know how to go to you get the deals because people trust you. You know how to underwrite. You guys are professional for all these years, and you just for all the reasons you passed on the saving. So we, the end user, from out of state investors, from California or from wherever, from all over the world, for that matter, come to buy your products off market. If you don't promote this to anybody out there, you work with our network, our tightly network that you have done repeat business. You do not do any kind of marketing. You don't need to get a referral business for decades consistently. So by not spending money on marketing your houses, you pass on the savings to our investors, right? There's so many ways you pass on the savings to us. So when we buy, one would think, oh, we're buying retail at Turnkey. No, we're not really buying retail. We're buying a discounted rate Turnkey property that's been rehabbed in every best way possible under the circumstances, and then we achieve the return that we achieve and still great cash flow in this market where it's very challenging. So yeah, very good for you, share that with us. Let's go on. Few more slides. I think we're almost running out of time. So let's do about 10 more minutes and let me see what else. Yeah, we already discussed, okay, people watch my video, they can go over this outline. We already discussed all these things. Yeah, all this outline, we pretty much concur. And any quick comment on some of these outlines on this slide?
Yeah, a little bit of comments. One, not every property that we sell is completely rehab because sometimes we're buying properties and they're not that in poor shape, or we might buy a bundle of properties. We might buy 10 at a time or something. And that's how we get a better deal if someone wants to just get rid of properties or something for whatever reason they might have. It depends on what the property for what we do to the property. So generally we are at least doing something but not all of them are total fix and flips. So a lot of them are, but it depends on the property. So if I would say to definitely talk to me about that. And then I agree with the 20%. We don't sell them 20% below market value unless we made a mistake. We don't try to sell it at least 20% below. There was one guy from China who did buy a couple of our properties and he just sold them on right after. He did well, and we basically accidentally sold them over 20% below market value. But that was basically we messed up on that one, but we didn't. Yeah, so it's not going to be 20%. So they are fair deals, and we're trying to do deal and volume for selling on our end and make easy sales, but it's not going to be 20+%. I would change that on the slide though. But they're worth it. They're good deals that you can definitely make money on these properties.
Definitely. Okay. Next slide. Okay, here's giving the age of your houses. A lot of the houses are 50, 60, 70, 80 years old. But don't get me wrong, I live in San Francisco Bay Area, and a large percentage of the houses located in San Francisco and San Francisco Bay Area are 60, 70, 100 years old as well. There are many more older houses in the US than there are new construction. Okay. Anyway, so here's a question some investors might want to know. Given the age of your houses that you're promoting, will a major repair such as a new roof or electrical system or a boiler, when it breaks down, that may wipe out several years of good part of the cash flow? And also, what if there's a prolonged vacancy on the property? What's the worst case scenario? So how do you answer that?
Yeah, so basically the orange part for the properties, they are older properties, typically what we're selling, but most of these properties have been upgraded multiple times over the years. So a typical architectural shingle will last 25 to 30 years for a new tear-off roof. So it's been done multiple times typically on these properties. So it's not, I'm getting a 100-year-old roof, basically. No, it's probably 7 years or something. So it's not, even if you bought property built in 2000 or something, oh, the house is only 4 years old. Maybe they didn't do the roof or something. Maybe that still needs to be replaced in a certain amount of time. So basically, we try to make it when we're selling property that the house won't need a roof. We'll just do the roof or a boiler system. If it's old, we'll just put a new one in there. So it depends on the age. If we think it's going to last 7 years or something, the roof, we're not going to just put a brand new roof just to put a brand new roof on it. But we take that into account on the prices too. So you might have that expense 7 years down in the future, but then you're not buying the house as if it has a brand new roof on it too. So you're not really paying for that expense up front that way. And then these properties do appreciate over time. Those repairs that you had on the orange part, those are capital improvements. So when you do have to do that eventually, because all houses are going to need to do that at some point, um, you're making your house worth more money because now it has a brand new furnace, it has a brand new roof or something. So it's a capital improvement. You can't really think of it, oh, I just lost $2,500 to put a furnace in. No, now your house is worth more. And so you didn't really lose that money. You just invested more money into your
Yeah.
property.
Yeah, those are capital improvements. Those are depreciation tax benefit transactions. So people are not aware of that, but that's, yeah. So what I hear you saying is that the perception of buying older properties is that the capital expenditure will greatly, dramatically reduce your returns, the cash flow. That's a perception, okay? That's not the reality. At least working with your group, that's clearly not the reality. But again, older property, very nicely rehab and great foundation. It'll last for a long time as long as you continue with the capital improvement. And it's not a new construction. A lot of people new construction. New construction in other markets cost a lot more money, a lot more down payment. You get what you pay for. But not to say that new construction does not create capital expenditure. They do, but not as much as an older property. But still, don't let the older property scare you away from buying in the Midwest market, especially with a reputable turnkey provider such as you guys, Buffalo Turnkey. So, very good answer. That should resolve a lot of objections especially by newbie investors who oftentimes still pretty clueless. They need to be educated about these kind of strategies. But then again, that's my job and that's your job too. So anyway, so of course, when the beauty of your product is people would need to get an appraisal, need to be appraised correctly by an independent appraiser, which almost always appraises well, which is not a given. Of course, we get an inspection report, and the inspection report is very elaborate, and I've seen quite a bit of them within your market. But one thing, and of course, your property will get financing because for any lender to approve a loan on older property, the older property must be well constructed and well rehabbed. Otherwise, you cannot get a loan, right? Because they have their own appraisers, those lenders. But during the inspection report itself, even if there are some few of the red flag items, mostly cosmetic repairs, and more often than not, you guys are so accommodating, you guys will come out of your pocket to address some of those cosmetic repairs on the inspection report because you guys want to help out the investors, say about the closing score. So tell people out there why you guys don't have to do that. You guys don't have to absorb the cosmetic repairs from the inspection report. So that's another value add that people need to know about. So tell me about your philosophy around that.
Yeah. So normally when there's repairs, we always encourage people to get a property inspection so you know what your property is. Because not everyone who buys a property here comes in. A lot of people do, but a lot of people don't too. So you want to at least have someone inspect the property too, is what I always suggest because it's not a whole lot of money to do that. And I think it's valuable, especially because, yeah, we will take care of a lot of repairs because there will be things, especially if we're doing a big rehab, that we might miss. And these inspectors, they do a pretty thorough job and spend a few hours with the house really looking into the mechanicals of the house, make sure everything kind of functions very, very well. So they typically will find a few items that should be corrected. And if we say, oh, well, yeah, these should be corrected, we'll just go ahead and do them because it's a lot cheaper for us to just go ahead and do it than for a buyer to have to go coordinate that and figure that out. And pay the butt and would cost more money that way. So we just, as a service, say, hey, we'll go ahead and do those as long as we think they're reasonable to do. So it depends on what it is a little bit. But yeah, so we're pretty good about trying to make the product good.
Very good. Yeah, we really appreciate that. That's why you guys do what's right for the investor, right? You go above and beyond the normal client service, and you guys are very accommodating, and not too many sellers are willing to do that, right? You guys are willing to do that. So for that, I really appreciate you for that. We almost done. I really appreciate your time here. I'm not going to go over the pro forma. I mean, suffice to say, the numbers are amazing. I mean, it's more than the numbers. But then again, you meet the 1%, you exceed the 1% rule, right? In case people don't know, 1% rule gives you some very good cash flow based on financing strategies, 25% down payment. But a lot of your properties exceed the 1% rule, which is very good. And we said over the years, you guys are getting some decent appreciation. 3% this year. It's all cash flow and no appreciation. No, that's not the way it is in your markets. People need to understand that. I'm not gonna go over the performer, but you can have so many great selections at any given time. You have a single family home, all we have ready. Oftentimes your tenant is already in place, great cash flow, great numbers. And this is a single family home. This is an older listing. It's a case by case basis. Of course, when our investors contact you, Caleb, you will walk them through, you will understand their goals and objectives, what they want of a property, and you will help them pick the right property for them. So I really appreciate your hands-on approach, your consultative nature of the way you help our investors to buy properties in your market 3,000 miles away, whatever, in California. So this is a duplex, very good cash flow. And then fourplex, again, you guys have this kind of off-market product, which is absolutely amazing. This is too good to be true, but it is true. Okay, you can also buy with the IRA. I'm not going to discuss that. But any given week, you guys have a lot of great deals. And so I think we can conclude this. So I think we're done. We need this amount of time to go do a deep dive, because the purpose of this podcast is to address any kind of objections coming from a investor, savvy or otherwise. Okay, look, and by you guys being so transparent, you tell it is by educating and informing our investors that your market is a value add. It's the best of all world in terms of Midwest market buying methodology. You guys are it. I said at the beginning, I don't need to promote any other market in the Midwest. I'm happy because you, but for Turnkey and but for Niagara Falls, is your product, or is it overall representation of all the vast visible or Midwest market out there. So our investors, when they consult with you, when they research your market, they don't need to go to Cleveland, Ohio to buy some. They don't need to go to St. Louis, Missouri to buy. They don't need to go to Detroit, Michigan to buy, because of all the risk factor we just discussed at the beginning of this podcast. By go to a trusted source, the team, you guys already there. To me, it's a slam dunk, no brainer. Anyway, with that in mind, can you do your own quick recap? Then we're done.
Yeah, serious. With other people can check out other turnkey providers. I think they'll find what many people have found, because I've been told many times over the years too, that when people check out other markets, that they definitely prefer for ours. We've even checked out Syracuse and Rochester and Cleveland ourselves too. So they're not super far away from us, a few hour drive. And so we're thinking maybe we might do something in some other markets to expand, but we were not impressed ourselves, so we didn't want to do those. So we just focus here. And again, it comes with a lot of knowledge and experience just in this particular market. So we could talk to your investors too, so that any of them can feel free to call me anytime. I'm always basically available. We could go over other properties or what your investment goals are too. So there's a lot of different avenues to do that. And you said we're always open and honest to kind of have a conversation, go through properties. That's what I'm here for. So we can definitely, I'm happy to take any calls for that or emails. So.
Sounds good, Caleb Canazzi. Thank you so much from Buffalo Turnkey. I appreciate your time. It's been another great learning experience. I always learn more, and the more we work together over these years, the more I feel very comfortable in referring our network investors to your marketplace. Thank you so much, Caleb Canazzi. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Have a nice day. I'll see you guys on the other side. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.